Hello, my name is Jill Kimura. My son is 8 years old, and I would say he has moderate to severe autism. He is an unreliable communicator. He can command 1 to 4 word sentences for demands only. He can answer yes and no questions with 50 to 60% reliability. I have been doing the 4 DLR laser faithfully for approximately 12 weeks on the entire head, neck, throat region 2 times a day, anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes. And I have, like I said, been faithful when doing the treatments. And what I have noticed in the last approximate 12 weeks is that within these 12 weeks, my son, of course, still has autism and still has behaviors. But what I have noticed and what his school and practitioners have noticed is that he is becoming more aware of people, places, people's names, appointment times, appointment places. He is more aware of directions of going to the places, the timing of his appointments. He is aware of his feelings, sad, scared, frustrated. He has become more verbal in a sense that he will tell you something in more details, that he is hungrier, um, that he wants his loose tooth pulled, that he wants the tooth fairy to come. There's just a general more awareness. And I wouldn't have believed it myself until just recently when he was requesting for his particular therapists by their name and wanting to see them, wanting to go for a chiropractic visit. And these are all new findings. And I cannot just say that it's a growth and development because we have been stagnant for a very long time at the same place for quite so many years after so many interventions. And this intervention, which was affordable and something that is easy to do, has given us a little glimmer of hope that maybe we are, you know, turning things on, connecting things. So I would have to say it's something I would recommend to others. And it's a very helpful tool in moving things slowly and coming along.
Good afternoon. We've been using one of Alex's laser, 2 red, 1 green, 1 violet, for about 2 months on our nonverbal autistic daughter. She's 12, and the things we've noticed the most are increased energy. She has a right arm that doesn't really want to be used and almost presents a bit like a stroke patient. And we've been doing a section of the brain to sort of lighten up that part of her body, and she's been utilizing her right arm more effectively. The other thing that's been really good is since getting her cycle, her bowels have really slowed down. And so if we light up or use the laser over her abdomen and liver, she will have a bowel movement probably within 30 minutes. It's been great. We continue to use it daily. I use it sort of coactively with different forms of therapy, and that's been very positive. or just doing the paintbrush routine all over different lobes of the brain. Anyway, super positive results, and we will continue to use the laser. Thanks so much.
Hey Alex, how's it going? So I just wanted to give you a little update because I think it's been about 3 months that we've been doing it. Well, a little bit less. I can't remember when we started. I have it written somewhere. So as I mentioned before, I'm doing it with my 3 kids, and my youngest one, which she has a diagnosis of attention deficit disorder with hyperactivity. This last week, I had a meeting with the teacher, and she said she has seen a big improvement this trimester. She's seen him more focused, more able to concentrate, less going around the class, which he usually goes. Goes to a Montessori, so it's not that they need to be seated all the time, but usually he's a little bit all over. And she was telling me that he's been more seated and less agitated, and yeah, again, more being able to do the tasks. And one of the things that surprised me, because she was saying that he did better at all the exams, as in almost feeling like his hyperactivity has been less, so he's been more able to focus. So yeah, I think that's we've noticed at home that he's more, yeah, more focused. I think that would be, I think he's more able to enjoy things and be more present without having to be all over, which is more his style. So yeah, I think that's a very positive one. I mean, with Olivia, with my autistic child, the therapist, they've been telling me that she's been doing better. She's reading better. She's writing better, so that all the cognitive are better. I can't say that we've seen like a huge improvement in our everyday life. I would say, besides today, that I saw some stereotypia, oddly enough. I don't know, maybe something else. But I have been seeing less stereotypia, which again, she's been more content in terms of not having as much, meltdowns, or being able to adjust to new circumstances better. So a change in routine, or, generally speaking, like doing things that she wasn't happy to do it. So she's done it. And my eldest, which he's 14, and generally speaking, a bit lazy. I mean, he's a very bright kid. He's on the, let's say, brightest sort of spectrum. But I've seen him more focused. I've seen him more compliant. I've seen him more, you know, mm, better overall, which he's now at that, teenage sort of thing. But yeah, generally speaking, he seems to be happier. I don't know if that's because of this, but he does seem to be more able to do the things we ask him, even at school, more focused. I mean, he's a good student because he's smart, but he's lazy. And, these days I see him doing the homework and without having to chase him. So overall, good, I would say. Now, so I'm going to make another video, audio to explain something.
Good afternoon, Alex. This is Mariana. My daughter has been in gut balancing for this is for the round, and yesterday we received the cold laser. I I started right away. Last night, 5 minutes, and this morning, 5 minutes. And I'm so happy to tell you that, she always on Wednesday morning, she has a speller session with a practitioner. And today is the first time that she didn't throw the ball or kick the practitioner, or she didn't show any aggressive behavior. She was pretty well regulated. She just needed a little redirection, and she even was able to spell some few words, like going and point the letters on her own without any direction. So that's a big milestone for her, because with her practitioner, she has been really hard on her, and she's really dysregulated. But today, it was a wonderful day. So we are so grateful for this technology and for gut balancing. And thank you so much. I keep you posted. Bye.
Hi, I wanted to share a review for the Research Elements Core Laser. To give some background, my son is about 6 years old, and we've been following the gut balancing protocol for the past 2 years. About 3 months ago, we started using the Core Laser consistently, twice a day for 5 minutes each, on each area. Primarily on the forehead, belly, in the vagus nerve, and the neck. My son has a problem with constipation that has improved since we did gut balancing. Uh, but it using the laser, we have seen further improvement. Um, since starting the laser, we have seen gradual but meaningful improvements in many areas. One of the biggest challenge we had in the before starting the laser was cognition and social interaction, which has gotten significantly better. Before the laser, he used to have only one friend in school. Now he's opening up to a lot more friends and playing up with all his peers at school, which the teachers at school have mentioned to us that he and the ABA therapists. The therapists have mentioned that he opens up to other kids, and he actually interacts with them much more than before. And also his constipation has improved significantly. He is much regular, I would say, but there is a day here and there he still misses. So we are still working on it, but it has gotten much better. His sleep cycle has gotten better as well. He now sleeps through the night. Previously, he used to wake up often in the middle of the night. So that's one area we have seen improvement. Another major improvement has been in his hyperactivity. He used to be constantly on the move and had difficulty staying at one place. But since starting the laser, he has become much more calmer. His anxiety has gotten better. His vocal stims are still present, but they're far less frequent. And on some days, we hardly notice them at all. Overall, to summarize, of the past 2 years, we have seen gradual but continuous progress through gut balancing, and now much more. I think with using the laser, I think we have zoomed past, and with just taken a giant leap. The improvements that we have seen over the past 2 years, I think we have seen much more in the past 3 months using the laser, which we attribute to this the laser that we have gotten from Research Elements. One of the uh, I would say one of the strongest confirmations that we got was from our occupational therapist, who mentioned she has seen a very big change in my son, and she was inquiring what have we done, and I gladly shared what have our experience with her. I'd like to take this opportunity to thanks Alex and Dr. Bogner, and truly appreciate the work you guys do, and have great confidence and trust in everything that Research Element puts out there, and all the effort that Dr. Alex and Bogner try in helping out the community. Thank you.
Before to now. I mean, it's just been less agitation. The one kid I talked to the parents, of course, he's made a traumatic change because he couldn't focus on anything before. Now he's sitting down doing academics. He couldn't trace or copy. Now he's tracing and copying letters. And it's not because he couldn't do it. It's just he couldn't focus. He was so out there everywhere else. So yeah, the 4 people who've been doing it, all of them have been very happy with the changes they've seen. And that's only been doing it here, not doing it every day, but doing it 5 days a week. So
wow,
the parents are really happy with what's going on.
I'm gonna send you another one. It's just I've been so behind on things.
That's fine. Hey, that document I sent you is copyable. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And what it does is it tests it is a thing that can pre and post test a kid for their sensory processing and agitation and things. So you can get a score before they start the light therapy, and then you get a score after. They use it in the Qigong sensory treatment as our pre and post test that we give kids to see if they're having differences or changes. And it is a reproducible copy. They don't want you messing with it, changing it, but I understand that. I'd probably take the Qigong sensory treatment off the bottom, but that's just me. But it is reproducible because I'm a provider. We can reproduce that as often as you want. So if it's something you want to use as a pre and post test, we can start doing that. I just wanted you to take a look at it.
I appreciate it. Yeah, no, that would be great. And yeah, I've just been so
I know.
So
I can't.
But I'm definitely going to get you one out within the next week. And so just to recap, you said 4 kids. What were there?
We had 4 kids doing it. Every one of them has seen a mood change at home.
And how often do you roughly, like how many?
We do it 5 days a week, 10 minutes a day.
10 minutes a day. Wow.
And we're gonna kick it up to 15.
And how
right now?
What would you rate their severities like before? I mean, like
well,
overall.
Before they were having problems at home, mood problems, mood swings. They were having meltdowns. Now, a couple of them, they still have them. But what she's noticed is she's able to now co-regulate with him and get him out of it really quick. Yeah. So the intensities have gone down, the duration has gone down, and the number has gone down. The one kid he had some more screaming, but he's quit screaming, and his mood has been so much more compliant at home. Wow. Now, he's fine here. He doesn't have a problem here. Mom has a little problem with him, but that's a parenting skill thing. But she's noticed a very much calmer, less agitated kid at home now. The one with the dramatic changes, Mom has just said he doesn't have a meltdown. He actually talks to us and uses his cognitive ability to resolve the problem instead of yelling and screaming and running away. So he's had a pretty dramatic change in stuff, but the rest of them have all had definite mood changes, definite mood swings to being more positive, more agreeable, less agitation, less frustration, higher frustration tolerance. Those kinds of things have really been noticed by the parents.
Amazing. Just one more thing. Some folks are actually using it on the oral cavity and seeing some benefits, with speech and motor function in the mouth.
I will try that. I've got one that I'm doing with has apraxia, and he has some word approximations, but very, very few. We could try that. I'll try that. Start that next week of doing it, not only the transcranial, but also doing it on the oral part.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. I really appreciate you giving me this feedback. It's really helpful.
Well, it is. I think for parents. I think it can be a supplemental game changer for them. It can be something that they could do if they were willing to do it. And we're seeing changes in kids, and we're just doing it while they're here. Yeah. If they were doing it every day, I think we would even see bigger changes. But that's neither here nor there.
All right, awesome. I should get you one out within a week. So thanks so much. I appreciate it.
But anyway, it's just, it's good. I mean, everything has been positive. I've had nobody that's looked at me and gone, "Oh, I don't see anything." Everybody has seen changes in their kids at home. Every one of them. Some more than others, but at least they have seen positive changes in their kiddo. So it would be great if we could set up some sort of research piece with this, but I think if we can do this pre-post test type thing, and I've got a new kid that's going to be coming in and seeing if we can do a pre-post test, it would be kind of interesting to see how we go. But I will try that on the next one.
Do you mind if I connect you on an email chain? There's a physician out in California. His name is Dr. Traver, and
Uh-huh.
he has 2 or 3 devices that he just started to use, and eventually want to kind of think of a way to maybe actually do a small study on it, and it'd be nice
I would be very interested in getting involved. Yeah. I think that'd be great.
Awesome. Okay,
'Cause
thanks
I
so
think
much.
that would help you out a lot as far as this goes. I mean, the initial studies have been positive. They've been small but positive. But the thing is, clinically, the parents are seeing changes. So I'm very happy with it. The idea would be, how can I expand that to more kids? That'll be the kicker.
Yeah.
But we'll get it there. All right.
Thanks so much, Robert. Appreciate it. Take care.
All right. You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We started using the laser about 2.5 weeks ago on my 5-year-old son, and we've seen some great improvements since that time. He has PANS PANDAS, and we're currently on our 4th round of gut balancing with Alex, and the gut balancing got us to a much more stable place than we were before, but it felt like there was a piece of the puzzle that was missing. There were still a lot of really hard days and flares happening before we started with the cold laser. He was pretty aggressive toward his siblings and would often seem to cause issues with them on purpose. He was waking up very grumpy and out of sorts about half the time, and there were many days when he just seemed uncomfortable and antsy all day. We started the laser 2.5 weeks ago, like I said, and some of the improvements we've seen are that he has not had any flares or bad days at all since we started. He's even gotten a cold during that period of time, and usually sickness will really throw him into a very difficult place, and he flares very badly. But this time, he's not seemed bothered by his cold at all. And we just used the laser a couple times a day through that sickness. He's much more responsive to us, and also initiating conversation and hugs much more often, telling me on his own multiple times a day that he loves me. He's engaged with us and just listening better. When he's misbehaving and there is an issue, he is listening, and we can work through it so much more easily than before. He's waking up happy every single day, and he's been smiling much more, just very pleasant and sweet. And it just feels like the laser has really leveled some things out for us and gotten us to a place that is better than it's ever been since he first got PANS PANDAS. We've been using it twice a day for the most part, for 5 minutes each time, mostly on his head and neck, and some on his belly as well.
Hi, this is Dr. Laura Hansen with Connect My Child's Brain, and we've been using your laser for quite some time, and I have really seen wonderful results in combination of the additional therapies that we do here at Connect My Brain. So we primarily work with children on a variety of levels. There may be a genetic disability or developmental delay or some kind of label, like attention deficit is probably the primary. On the toddlers who are not speaking, we're using this laser in the mouth as well as on the sensory motor cortex, and following the 10-minute, 5-minute programs on the module, with 10 minutes is number 1, 5 minutes is number 2. We've just seen probably number 1 immune changes. A lot of these kids come in and they have frequent illnesses, which are already telling you that there's a challenge to the nervous system. We do a lot of lab testing here, in combination, support that physiology. But I just find when you stack, I like to call it neurological stacking, when you are working with a toddler and you're trying to work on milestone acquisition, but understanding how much stress their autonomic nervous system is in, you have to support that physiology. And then, of course, the brain. And especially with toddlers, that's where the laser work I put under that canopy of brain work. We also follow many other protocols for photomodulation for vagus nerve, cerebellum, energy, just depending upon what it is that that child needs. A lot of kids come in, and again, immune situations, what an excellent way to accelerate the healing of the tissue by incorporating the principles behind photomodulation. I especially like this particular laser because I have not only red light, but I've got violet and I've got green, which I'm able to then also take that same approach of how I like to call it neurological stacking. I think you've done that with how many lights you're putting into your system all at the same time. So I'll keep updating this. We had one very interesting case, a little girl born with hydrocephalus, and she comes in 4 times a week, especially for photomodulation. And one particular day, she was very hot. She'd been quite irritated in the car, and her area on her skull was bulging quite a bit. And by the time that we got done doing laser that particular day, it had reduced itself by at least 75%. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm curing anything, but to take that kind of stress off of a child's nervous system that quickly. By the time she left here, she was very relaxed. She still has to have medical attention in combination with everything else that the parents are doing. But this is how I think children that have these types of devastating impacts at birth, this is how we're able to accelerate healing and maybe just make life a little bit more comfortable.
Hello, Alex. So we've been using the laser with 3 kids. The first one, it's an autistic girl, 12 years old. When we started, she has functional vocabulary. So her major issue is cognitive and speech. So since we have started, that it's probably now about 5 weeks, doing it regularly every day, 10 minutes every night. What we've seen is more concentration, more able to finish longer tasks. Her psychologist or her therapist, it's telling us that she's been able also to complete more elaborated tasks that before she was not even attempting. And so she's been reporting that her focus has been longer and also her interests have been expanding. That's one of the things that we've been told that has been a problem in the past because her interests were quite restrained. So that's one thing. Also, her vocabulary, we've noticed she's been using more and more new words that before she wasn't. Now with our 10-year-old son, he has attention deficit disorder with hyperactivity, and so he reports himself that after 5 weeks doing one session a night of 10 minutes of the frontal area and then the temporal lobes, that he reports himself that he feels that he's been able to focus more, that he struggles less and loses less attention, which that's been usually the problem. And so yeah, generally speaking, he says he feels better overall. I don't know if there is a placebo effect there, but he's been very positive, and actually he's the one asking to do the laser every night. So I think obviously because with our daughter, she cannot explain things, but she's been very compliant doing the laser every night. So we're assuming that she also finds it positive. Now, with our eldest child, he's 14. He is at the other end of the spectrum, so he would say gifted, I think you say it in English. So he has dyslexia and possibly a little bit of attention deficit. He is the one that we've been less consistent due to his schedules that they different. So with him is the one that we haven't seen much, but I think we probably done it 50% of the time. So yeah, that would be my report. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I wanted to give a quick review of the red light therapy device and some of the results that we're seeing with our 2.5-year-old son. We began the red light therapy about 8 months ago, and just for context, at that point our son was about 2 years old, and we've seen really significant results since then. He was not speaking at all until about 18 months, and at the time he only spoke a few words. I remember the big three for him were just car, truck, and clock. That's all he said. There was no mama, no dada, no nothing like that, no eye contact. And we really began first with a gut intervention, which helped a lot. But I think combining that with the laser, it really accelerated the rate of improvement. And, within a few months, he was saying 2-word combinations. He went from no eye contact at all to being a lot more comfortable with it. And he went from never answering his name. And he also was grunting at the time instead of speaking. He went from that to pretty much answering to his name almost every time you call him, unless he's really, really focused on an activity. I mean, today he's about 2.5 years old. He's asking for things. His sleep has drastically improved. He feels a lot like a typical kid, but there's still several areas that we're still working on. I mean, he's saying sentences now. He'll ask for very specific things. He's just a brand new kid. And I want to thank Dr. Zaharakis and Dr. Bogner for the device, really all the incredible help they've provided to me, to our son, really to our family. I couldn't be more grateful to both of you and everything that you're doing. And to everyone listening, I can't recommend this device highly enough in terms of just rate improvement for your child and how much better that I've seen my own child get. So if you're thinking about getting a device, genuinely couldn't recommend it highly enough.
He just turned 6 years old. He began speaking around 3, and his language is still delayed, but we started using the cold laser therapy for, I want to say it's been about 6 months now. And we use it about, I'd say almost every day, if not at minimum 6 days a week for about 10 to 15 minutes. We have a pretty strict evening routine. And being in the functional medicine space and doing that for a few years now, I don't ever really introduce anything lightly, but I have a lot of trust in Alex and the team. And we started using it, and we've seen a really good improvement. Max does have language. He started speaking around 3 years old. However, even though Max has so many improvements, overall, he still is diagnosed and has autism and has struggles. His language, he does speak. Like I said, he started speaking around 3, but it is still delayed. He's not necessarily conversational, but he does have functional language. And it is emerging, and he's, working on it and trying to strengthen it. One of the biggest changes we've seen over, I'd say, the past couple months is his increasing independence. He no longer requires a one-on-one RBT, which he's had since he was 2, about October. I'd say maybe mid-October, we resigned his RBT, which we loved her. She became like family to us. However, we felt that he could go to elementary school. He entered into kindergarten in what's called social, there's neurotypical students in the class, and there's also a few with autism or special needs. So he no longer needs a one-on-one RBT. He's becoming increasingly more and more independent. We use the laser. Our routine is we do about a 20-minute Epsom salt bath in the evenings, and afterward, we do the laser, and then we ask him to attempt to eliminate any bowel movements, just to keep him regular. Which I think the routine there helps us stay on track with use, and then helps him just get used to the pattern of it being done. We just recently enrolled him into a program called Kids Strong, and we can see the difference between him and the neurotypical children his age, but he's doing really well. He's trying so hard to do like push-ups and pull-ups, and the course, it's like a little gym that with coaches for the kids. And sometimes as a parent, you're sitting there watching, and all the other parents, and your child is you can see the difference, or the age gap, so to speak. But once we kind of get past that and within ourselves, we're really excited to see how far he's come and how well he's doing. So he does Kids Strong, which we didn't think he would be able to do independently. He does need help from the coaches, but he does really well, and he stays engaged. And the coaches always talk about how well he does each class. He also goes to occupational therapy, and continually over the last couple months, his occupational therapist has noted his improvements in his fine motor skills, including a better pencil grasp and hand control. Strengthening his hand muscles have been really important, and we've seen an increase there. So overall, I don't think the laser is like a magic fix. I don't think there's ever any one magic bullet, but overall, I think we've seen a huge increase in his gut health. We do point the laser on the back of his neck in a sweeping motion, as if I were cutting his hair with like a buzzer. That's how we use it. And I think overall we've seen some great improvements. I would highly suggest it to families that are looking to do out of the box interventions. We've seen just overall great improvements with Max, his cognition, his language, just reciprocity with us, and we're really happy with everything overall. Alex is amazing. I can't say enough good things about him, and and all the work that he does in this space, and we're so just eternally grateful for the work that he's doing. And I hope this message reaches some families that wanted some insight.
My 9-year-old son recently began his journey with the DCL6R laser. At the same time, we had just started a use protocol to address gut dysbiosis. I had been dreading this step because in the past, these protocols caused extreme dysregulation for him and made daily life very difficult. Previously, during die-off phases, he would experience intense irritability, inconsistent sleep, severe difficulty with transitions, and increased OCD tendencies, especially around counting. The counting would become so consuming that he would not finish an activity until the cycle was complete. He was also having nightly bedwetting. My son uses an AAC device to communicate. The morning before we started the laser, after waking up in a dysregulated state, he typed anxious, nervous, ridiculous, silly. That was how his body felt in that moment. In the past, these symptoms would last around 4 to 5 weeks, while he always eventually came out on the other side doing very well. Getting there was extremely hard on him and our family. We began using the laser on February 13th with 1 10-minute session per day all over his head. On February 15th, I increased it to 10 minutes 2 to 3 times per day. Today, February 18th, marks 5 full days of increased use. Since increasing the laser sessions, he has had a complete turnaround in his level of dysregulation. He wakes up happier. We've had no bedwetting for almost a week. He is sleeping consistently through the night. In the past, during these protocols, he would wake up laughing and be up for 2 hours before our alarms. Now he is sleeping well, something that is a huge change from just 1 week ago. Transitions are easier for him, and overall, he is calmer and happier. His dysregulation is significantly reduced. His OCD and counting tendencies are still present, but now they can be interrupted without triggering a meltdown. What I have seen in just 5 days of use is nothing short of miraculous. I spoke with his teacher today to check on how he did at school. Before starting the laser, he had been having very difficult time staying regulated. She told me he had a great day today. He was in general education for half of the day, which is a big deal because my son has high support needs. I can't wait to see what longer-term use of the laser will do for him. The gains we've seen in such a short period of time completely blow my mind. I even asked my husband to make sure I wasn't just seeing what I hoped to see, and he agrees there has been a dramatic change in how our son feels and in his overall quality of life while going through this yeast die-off process. As he starts to experience more gains, I will plan to do another update to encourage other parents to see how wonderful and miraculous these lasers really are.
Hi, everyone. I have a 5-year-old son who is severely autistic. We have been using the Element Diagnostics cold lasers on him 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and night. We have seen great results with this regarding his sleeping habits, his focus, and his hypertension. We have also seen him trying to speak more with all his therapies as well. So we just continue to hope and pray.
I'm sorry my voice is a little hoarse, but I wanted to tell you our experience with the laser. We have seen profound results from it. Many times when he's been anxious, we have done it for 10 or 15 minutes and we immediately see him, the anxiety calm down, and he's able to do maybe whatever he's struggling with. We've been trying to do it each morning before he goes to school, and we definitely see results from it each time we use it. He never fights me or not want me to do it, where some things he will resist, and he's even asked for it at times when he has felt anxious. We have been very, very happy with the laser and highly recommend it.
Hello, this is James Grunvig. I'm the father of an autistic 25-year-old son who has gone through a lot in life, had a lot of anxiety. The lockdowns of 2020 didn't do him any favors. In fact, it made him more anxious, worse sleep patterns, things of that nature. It didn't help. So I moved out of New York City for a lot of reasons. One was to better his environment. But until Dr. Alex, his laser, which was updated over the past year, it really does work. It works. My son sleeps through now. He's not anxious. He doesn't wake up in the middle of the night, in the morning, during the day. Whenever he sleeps through, which is a marvelous thing. He's comfortable with it. On my end, I use it every other day. 3 minutes is all he needs, and he's completely relaxed. So it is definitely a product worth trying. If you have an autistic child on the spectrum, highly recommend using Dr. Alex's laser. Thank you.
Hi, my son is currently 12 years old. He was diagnosed with ADHD and developmental delays. He has been using the red light laser for probably the last 2 years. We try to do it in the evenings. After bath time, he'll usually read me a story as I'm using the red light on his scalp and down his neck, around his ears, sometimes a little bit on the frontal lobe near his forehead. And it seems to calm him and give him peace before going to bed. Usually after having an overstimulated day, maybe some issues with, school or homework time. He likes to sit down and get the red light therapy. He tells me that he feels better after he has the red light therapy, and we've noticed a big change in his demeanor, in the way that he focuses a little bit more. He is not as overexcited when we do the red light therapy, and so he's a lot of the times the one that says, "Hey mom, it's time to do my red light therapy." And so we do it at least 2, sometimes 3 times a week. And we really, really like it. And it's something that we've made a part of our evening ritual. So it's not something that I let go too long. If we don't do it, at least once that week, then the next week we'll make sure that we get at least 2 or 3 times in, depending on our schedules, because he sees a difference and I see a difference, and we just want to make sure that that he feels good after he gets it done.
Hi, I just started using the laser machine 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago for my son. I started using it for 5 minutes, then I increased to 15 minutes per day. I realized he's more vocal, he's talking more, and I found him also sleeping better because I'm using that at night before he's sleeping or while he's full of sleep. I found progress with that. It's a uh, good thing. It's like helped him a lot. I appreciate that Alex offered that for me. My son, I already started also to have it twice a day to have more benefit of that. It's very helpful. As I told, more vocal. His voice is more clear. Thank you for this opportunity.